This is me before rolling with Natasha.
Welcome back, friends. I got another good one for you today. This is a nice training round with my good friend Cristobal. He's a white belt and he's really tough, so let's get straight into it. I pull guard and I'm looking to enter into the legs. He's doing a really good job of keeping his legs away from me and making it difficult for me to get any sort of half guard or close guard. I end up shooting in and I am able to get the half guard, and I'm looking for a little reverse de la Hiva kiss of the dragon, trying to get under him, but he's pressuring his weight into me and making it really difficult for me to get under. I'm pretty stacked here and it's really difficult for me to get under him, so I decide instead to try and shoot a triangle. He's keeping his weight really heavy, so it's a little bit difficult for me to try and lock it up all the way immediately. Plus, he has his hand in a little bit, so I decide to control my shin, and I'm thinking about scooting backwards. For a second, I try and go for a little TP choke, but I can't reach my legs. I abandon that TP choke attempt and I go back to controlling the shin. My goal is to walk back a little bit and close the triangle, but instead I take my right hand to grab my shin and I'm trying to go for some sort of variation of a triangle choke where the right side of my leg is controlling one side of his neck and then my arm is controlling the other. So I'm trying to tighten the space a little bit. It's not the most effective way to choke. In fact, it's not very effective at all. But I did notice that he seemed to be turning a little bit red, so I thought maybe I had it. As it turns out, I did not have it. It's also not a very comfortable position, so I definitely would not recommend. From here, I'm still controlling my shin and I'm trying to create an angle so I can lock up the triangle. I do lock it up a little bit. His elbow is still not quite over to the other side, so there's not a lot of choking pressure on him. And like I said, he's still stacking me a little bit, so I opt to go back to the TP choke. And from here, I am able to reach my two hands together under my legs, and I'm trying to squeeze my legs, hamstring curl down. His forward pressure is stopping this choke from being super effective, so I end up abandoning it and going back to my close guard. From here, I'm looking to break his posture. Like I said, Chris is really strong and it's difficult for me to break his posture, so I want to grab his two collars and bring my knees to my chest so that I can start working some overhook stuff. I really enjoy the overhook because it's a really good position of control, and there are a few really good submissions that I like to go for, such as the punch choke. There's also a little arm bar from there, and then if the arm bar doesn't work, I can always go for a pendulum sweep. Chris circles his arm in, so I think about going for a Barado Plata for a second, but he does a good job of circling back out. So now I need to go back to breaking his posture. He places his arm on the mat, I go for the overhook on the other side, and I start to feed the lapel grip. So you can see my left arm is trying to grab the inside of his opposite lapel, and then he does another really good job of pulling his arm out. He has good posture here, he's trying to open up my guard, and I'm trying to stop him from standing up, because I know once he stands up, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to break his posture. This time I am able to secure a much tighter overhook. I do have that collar grip, and I'm looking for a cross collar choke from here. But he keeps his head really low, so it's hard for me to take my arm and bring it over to the other side. You can see he also starts controlling my sleeve and pinning it down, making it even more difficult. And what I like to do from here is bring my knee through and go for a triangle, but he does a really good job of stopping that from happening. I go back to trying to control the collar, and I'm trying to bring my elbow across the neck. We realize we're really close to another pair, so we scoot in a little bit so that we can get our position back. I'm back in close guard, I'm back in my overhook, and we're looking to work the very same things. So I don't have the collar grip just yet, I'm trying to grab it. And Chris is trying to keep his arm bent so that there's no threat of that arm bar that I was talking about earlier. When he goes to pull his arm out a little bit, I try to lock my diamond a little bit higher, close to his shoulders, so that I can have just a little bit of a better angle and be able to control his posture just a little bit more. So I am able to make that cross collar grip again. He starts to make a cross collar grip on my neck so that he can frame my face a little bit to try and pull his arm out. From here, I'm finding it really difficult to try and get an angle so that I can go for the choke, but he starts to turn and I'm thinking about taking his back for a second. I want to abandon the overhook now because I feel like we've been in this position for a really long time and not much is happening. So I'm thinking about next steps here. If you can see, I had a bit of a cross collar choke here, and then I think about going for a shoulder crunch before opting to try and take the back, but Chris does a really good job defending again, and we're back in close guard. I'm tired of being in close guard, so I open my guard. From here, I'm looking to enter into key guard, trying to connect my feet to his hips and trying to bring him over into X guard. He starts to grab my pants and lift me up, and this is making it really difficult for me to get under his legs. I'm really trying to pull that leg out, but because he has such a strong grip on my pants, it's really hard to pull that leg out. I do end up entering into 50-50, and Chris ends up stepping out, and I end up on top in a little bit of a scramble. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Coach Caitlin for filming. Thank you to Cristobal for allowing me to film, and I had a lot of fun. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
My name is Cristobal, and this is me after rolling with the